Today we're going to create a simple geometric pattern using a bunch of hexagons and a nice colour scheme, finished off with some subtle textures. Now I've done a couple of tutorials based on this style of artwork in the past, but I've since been enlightened about a couple of third-party scripts that alleviates the tedious process of manually applying the colours, which is the technique I showed in my previous videos. So before you start, you'll want to grab the random swatches fill script and my free pack of concrete subtle grunge textures, which we'll be using as part of this tutorial. Links to both are down in the description area. To install the script, navigate to the Illustrator directory on your computer. On a Mac, that's via the Applications folder, or navigate to Program Files on Windows. Head to Presets and through to Scripts, and drop the downloaded JS file in there. Quit and reboot Illustrator, then you're ready to rock. So first, create a new document for your geometric design. If you're creating your artwork as a poster, you might want to set up the document at a specific print size. But if you're just having some fun, selecting pixels is handy just to be able to work in nice rounded numbers. I'm using a document size of 3000 by 2000 pixels. Click and hold the rectangle tool to access the polygon tool from its group. Click somewhere in the upper left region of the document to create a shape at a specific size. Enter 100 pixels as the radius and 6 sides to make it a hexagon. Hold the shift key and drag the corner handle to rotate the shape by 90 degrees. Give the shape a black fill and clear out its stroke, then go to Object, Path and Offset Path. Enter 10 pixels, then give this new offset shape a random colour fill. Go to the View menu and check that the Smart Guides are active. These will help you accurately snap and align the shapes in the following steps. Drag a selection around both shapes to select both the hexagon and its offset shape, then hold the Alt key and drag a copy to the side. Use the Smart Guides to snap it perfectly to the side of the first shape. Use the shortcut for Transform again, which is Command or Control and D, to repeat this duplication step 7 times to create a series of aligned shapes. Next we need to create a copy of the full row. However, if you try and snap them into place as you would expect, for some reason Illustrator doesn't acknowledge those particular points, so it makes it difficult to align them exactly. There is a little trick we can use though. Select one of the coloured offset shapes, then select the Scissors tool. Give the top and lower right points a snip, then drag a selection across the entire row and try dragging a duplicate while holding the Alt key again. This time the Smart Guides take notice of those points and allow you to align the shapes based on their positions. Snap the second row into place to continue with the tessellation of the hexagon pattern. Select and delete the end shapes on the second row, then draw a selection around the 2 rows and make another copy, this time just dragging them vertically. The Command and D Transform Again shortcut can now be used to fill out the rest of the document. About 6 times should fill the available space. Select all with the Command or Control and A shortcut, then use the Smart Guides to align the pattern centrally to the document. Click one of the coloured shapes, then go to Select, Same and Fill Colour. We only needed those offset shapes to align the pattern, so they can now be deleted. Next we need a nice colour scheme for the design. I like to quickly find something on Colour Lovers, take a screenshot of the palette and paste it into the document to work from. Activate the eyedropper tool and load a sample of the first colour as a fill, then click the new swatch icon from under the swatches panel. Repeat the process with all the other colours in the palette, then delete the screenshot. Click the first swatch, then shift and click the last swatch and create a custom group, just to keep them nicely organised. Select all the hexagons with the Command and A shortcut, then choose a number of colours from your custom palette, but save one for use as the background. Click the first one, then shift click the last one to highlight them all. Now this is where the custom script comes into play. Previously I used the slightly tedious technique of manually selecting a bunch of shapes, then adding a coloured swatch fill, but the random colour fill script does all the hard work in a split second. With the hexagon shapes and your chosen swatches selected, head to File, Scripts and Random Colour Fill. The script will automatically change the fill colour of all the shapes based on your swatch selection. Select the rectangle tool and draw a shape from the top left to the bottom right of the artboard, using the Smart Guides to snap exactly to the corners. Add the leftover swatch you chose for the background as the fill, then right click and go to Arrange Center Back. Now usually I'd switch over to Photoshop for texturing, but there's no reason why we can't just do it in Illustrator, so to keep this as an Illustrator only tutorial and to cover some different techniques to my previous videos, let's import the textures directly. Select all with the Command and A shortcut, then press Command and G to group everything. Under the transparency panel, click the Make Mask button to create an opacity mask. click the little thumbnail on the right to activate it. Head to File and Place, then choose one of my concrete subtle grunge textures. Now Illustrator is primarily a vector application, so it defaults to 72 ppi as its on-screen resolution. Because we're working in pixels instead of a physical measurement like millimeters or inches, things do get a little bit weird with the sizing. These textures are actually 3000 by 2000 pixels at 300 ppi, so it's safe to resize them back up, then export the artwork at 300 ppi later. Rotate the texture by 90 degrees to fit the proportions of the artboard, then use the Align panel to center them up, making sure to check the Align to Artboard setting. Since this texture is being placed inside an opacity mask, it uses the black to white tones to erase the artwork. Reduce the opacity to around 40% to reduce the effect. Click the thumbnail square on the left in the transparency panel to exit out of mask mode back into normal editing mode, then go to File and Place and choose a different texture. Resize, rotate and align this texture, then change the blending mode to multiply with 30% opacity to add some dark grainy tones to the artwork. The final result is a simple geometric pattern that looks really cool with a nice muted colour scheme with subtle grungy texturing. The use of that handy script made the process of making fun patterns like this much easier, but you might want to check out some of those older videos for more ideas for pattern designs using different shapes. You'll be able to whiz through those other tutorials much faster with this new technique. So I hope you enjoyed this latest video tutorial for Adobe Illustrator. I'm super proud that this channel has almost reached the big 100,000 subscriber milestone, so a thumbs up on the video and a share with your friends would be a big help to push towards that goal. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.